And then like I kind of thought about it and reviewed and realized how and why people like go viral and what takes get big and like how to make a big take. And the answer is you want to have a statement that some people agree with and some people disagree with, but then you don't want to make the best possible case for it. You want to make a
Yes.
case for it that the people against it feel like they can argue against it because it's like, oh, that's so stupid. Let me point out the error in
Yeah,
it.
it's not concrete, and it shouldn't even be that it's necessarily a bad case. It can also be a case that has a lot of holes,
Yeah.
generalizations, or assumed or implied gaps in understanding, right? It
Hmm.
should literally just be something that causes the average person who's unfamiliar with you and the algorithmic sphere that you exist in to misinterpret you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then that gets like the PvP engagement. And then once you do that, it's I don't, it's like it's over because then it explodes.
Welcome to another episode of the Plausibly Deniable Experience, sponsored by Polymarket, Zcash, Passage Press, and Citizen X. Today, we will be discussing Saila. Go on. I don't remember what the topic
Today, we're
was.
going to be discussing the bliss of confirmation bias. Okay, how
Wait, the
blissful
bliss? Are we saying the
the
bliss of
bliss,
confirmation bias?
the
Is this
bliss of
something we're doing to
confirmation
try and make a
bias.
good title? Are we trying to
I feel like it's a
manifest the
good
title?
title, man. Is
I
this a
feel
good
like if you
title?
say the bliss of anything in a YouTube video, it's like we might get flagged. Like,
You think so? Why?
For what?
it's just,
Like
you know,
suggestive?
the plausibly deniable bliss. The plot, like, it's like, I don't know, dude.
Have you guys talked about the Odyssey at all? And the Nolan
No, we
Odyssey?
haven't. We didn't watch it. Not
I'm
because
gonna
we're
be
like
totally honest.
Giga
I
Chad
think no,
boycotters,
we
but
did
just I
talk about it.
don't
We
think
did
we watch any movies.
no. We did the Odyssey discourse, but we did it when we were like, we're gonna start a new segment on the show, and it's called 5-minute
Discussing
movie
media
reviews
without
of films
watching
that
it.
we haven't watched. Right?
Okay, because
So
I
we were
haven't
like,
watched it either, so I'll fit
This
right
is
in
Okay.
with
so
this segment.
holy shit, this is so based. New weekly segment where we discuss like the piece of media that came out, but no one's allowed to watch.
we're doing like meta reviews. It's like reviews of the commentary that goes on.
Because okay,
There's
so
a really
the
good I think there is a really good performance art to this.
oh,
You know,
absolutely.
to this idea of like I'm discussing the thing without having even ever seen it.
Well, it's even
Brilliant.
funnier too when you imagine there's someone who's listening to us doing it too, right? And then there's another person who listens
Discuss
to us
hours.
describing the described review. And then they're telling someone else about it. So it's like you're now like 8 chains down off the information ladder.
So Emily Wilson, who is the author of the that horrible translation that everybody absolutely hated her for of the Odyssey in the first place, would like tell me, O muse of a complicated man, where it begins with that, and then she like changes Helen's lines to make her like to be like more feminist. She writes a review, and the review of Nolan's Odyssey is like, yeah, they turned him into a wife guy. and it's like this is horrible. They turned him into like a wife guy with like modern conservative modern like tradcon morality, and it's ridiculous. And it was the funniest review, watching her like savage Nolan for this, and like watching the way people like lined up like who was defending and who was attacking. And like Bap didn't like her review because he like focused on the bits where like I feel like she had to like performatively throw in some bits where she was like, oh, they turned the black people that they put in there into like the magical Negroes. And I was like, all right, that's her putting like a sop to like what she has to say because she's an academic. And like the serious criticism was like her being like, yeah, no, actually, this was just like horrible at the work itself. But I haven't seen it, so.
I saw everybody say that the translation was really bad, and I was like, the thing with translations that's always been kind of goofy to me is you'll see everyone say like, yeah, dude, it was such a bad translation. And then you're looking at the person posting it and you're like, can this person read Greek? Like, can this person read the original Greek? And it's like,
Yeah.
no, 100% chance they cannot. So it's sort of the same thing as our movie review idea that we have, where nobody has read the original source context, and yet they're all arguing back and forth about it. And when you zoom out again, this is just kind of history, right? Like every time you see a Wikipedia edit war over any historical thing, or you see two professors who are arguing in an academic setting over what happened in a given war, it's all just people trying to cope history into being what they wanted it to. And like you win if you get to rewrite the Odyssey as your feminist novel, right? And you lose if the other person says the Odyssey is like about a completely different and unrelated thing now. Like Homer was gay. All of the children were like women. He was a massive girl dad, like something like that, right? I don't know.
I think
he's right.
it is this new. You can actually like entirely review media without having seen it at all nowadays, because the new strategy, at one point they changed this, and you can tell from the trailers. At one point they changed from like, oh, we won't spoil the movie, to now every movie is spoiled effectively in the trailer, because it apparently just performs better. Like people just want to be spoiled before they go in at all. They would rather know what the ending is actually.
Do you remember
I think
when
it's
there
also
used to
they
be
don't
like
wanna talk
spoiler
about it.
alert tabs on websites?
Oh God, yeah.
What a crazy
And-
what a crazy time of media supremacy the early 2010s were, where it's like spoiling someone was as bad as like murdering. It was truly, it was so cringe in Reddit, but in some ways it was the last sign of like a culture that had something in common. Like everyone was watching Game of Thrones, you know, or whatever. That doesn't happen anymore. No one's watching the same thing now.
I mean, you remember what the big one was, right? I mean, it might be a little before before your time, Saila.
Was this
But the
Breaking
big one,
Bad?
no, the big one was. I have a funny Breaking Bad story, but the big one was Snape killed Dumbledore. When like everybody would put that like as like that was a big internet meme where like they would put that in, like they would write a thing, and then at the end it would be like, oh yeah, Snape killed Dumbledore, and like that was the big like that was like the big, oh my God,
I
it's a
remember this.
spoiler.
Millennials
Yeah.
were so unbelievably, still are, but so unbelievably gay. It's amazing, actually. Things that, like, if you were to look at the corpus of millennial memes, it's
Yeah.
like simultaneously they're the seeds of everything that wound up like germinating within the Zoomers, but also it's just all of this total like Harry Potter Marvel slop before we had
Yeah.
terms to define any of that, right?
Yeah. But like the big, I don't know, like I blame Joss Whedon for a lot of that stuff, and like the whole, blah, blah, blah. Oh, he's standing right behind me, isn't he? Oh God. Like just that whole genre of humor, I hated that so much.
That was Firefly, right?
That was Firefly. Like, well, that was him when he was like good on Firefly, but then like I feel like he just became like a self-parody, and like or the imitators of him were worse, but like that whole like millennial snark humor, like that like kind of infested Marvel was like a nightmare. But it's over now. It's all over. Because they turned Marvel into a girl boss woke thing, and then nobody cares about it anymore. So we've been freed from the yoke.
Funny how all of the like really old internet rules, you'd be like, oh well, that's a generalization, but it's not true for this person under this and it's always wrong. Like all of the generalizations are always 100% true to everyone in every account.
I mean, there are exceptions. I don't know. The thing is, the exceptions that I see no, you know what it is? If there are exceptions that are really big, then you haven't formulated your rule correctly, is really what it's telling you. Like,
because all of the rules from the internet, we've seen internet behavior for a long time now.
Yeah.
Right. There's only so many ways that you can have a text-based interaction with someone. We've kind of solved all of them. We've kind of solved all of the pathologization of everything. We know what we're going to get from this stuff. And so, if our rules weren't accurate and they didn't work, you would kind of assume that the human race is doomed and we're just all.
Well, it'd be very strange if they stopped working, or like you have this many years of interactions and then all of a sudden it doesn't work. That would be very weird, wouldn't it?
It would be unsettling.
Well, it was super funny how there's that one study that's like stereotypes are one of the most reproducible effects in all of science. So you can hit them with a like, do you trust the science or not, bro? Like, what's going on?
I saw that reply of yours where you put that out there. It was good. Because it's like stereotypes are a great example. It's like, well, why do you think that if stereotypes were wrong, people would eventually discard them because they would stop matching reality.
This is another one of those areas, though, where coming back to the theme of the episode, the confirmation bias thing, people will just invent. Like, if you tell somebody that stereotypes are usually correct, oftentimes they won't even argue with it. They will just invent different stereotypes, you know?
What do you mean? Like, just they'll invent wrong stereotypes and be like,
So
what about this stereotype?
all of the traditional negative racial stereotypes that people have about anything, there is a left-wing inversion of that, right? So you can have whatever the right-winger might think about Indians, and then the left-winger would say, oh yeah, the Indian stereotype about how they're smarter than all Native Americans and they're harder working and higher IQ and funnier, right?
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, yeah, I agree that stereotypes are correct. And
Yeah,
you're like,
well, that's leftists. To just leftists, the way they lie is like a very. There's like two ways that they lie. That's like very specific. Is like one is they lie on the meta level, like you said. They make up the claim and then they say, "Oh yeah, I agree with that claim that you made." Where it's like, "No, I didn't make that claim," and in fact, you invented that stereotype just now. Like that's a thing you made up just now. That's like one way that they lie, and that's really prominent. And then the other way that they lie is like they'll say like they will attribute someone else's motivations to them having knowledge that what they're doing is false. Like an example I saw, like how much are we supposed to mention about other people? Like we're not supposed to mention other people to
I try to
avoid
keep
drama,
it very
right?
depersonalized and very meta in general, just to make it more broadly applicable and to make anytime you mention other people, it increases the chance of some sort of gay Twitter drama feud.
Yeah,
Or
I agree.
angry...
And you said that the first time I was on here, and I thought that was very wise, and I was trying to avoid that.
I think it's also like it's kind of intrigue-maxing, right? Like you, like if you say something about a particular person, it's a very mundane thing that you're saying. Whereas you go, we all know who we're talking about. Now you've intrigue-maxed. The audience is now curious who you're talking about. And then what you said like applies more broadly, and you can't really be wrong anymore, right? It's unfalsifiable. It's a brilliant rhetorical tactic.
Saila is now the guy who's leaning against the wall doing it's like the Drive green
they don't
text.
know. Oh, the Drive one, okay.
Saila's game is just, if I don't ever say anything, they won't catch me.
Like, have you seen that one great green text about Drive where it's like the guy's like, yeah, all I did was I started acting like Ryan Gosling from Drive. And now I have a girlfriend and a kid with her. And then the other day she says, hey, do you want to check out this movie? And I got really nervous. And then I thought, what would Ryan Gosling do? And I was like, no, that movie looks pretty shitty, to be honest. Let's just go do something else. Dude, I keep saying this, and I continue to believe this more and more, that like anyone who tells you that LARP, like the use of LARP as a negative connotation is totally incorrect. LARP is obviously a good thing. You should be LARPing at all times. LARP is obviously positive. You just need to do it harder. Like if you're getting called out for LARPing, your real failure is that you're not LARPing hard enough. Because if you were
people also
LARPing
kind of
harder,
stopped calling people out for LARPing. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I'm seeing this with all the AI influencers where everybody knows that they're LARPing, right? Like when the guy is saying, I'm walking through the woods using my AirPods to command my swarms of ChatGPT agents over ChatGPT voice. I'm accomplishing more work in 2 hours today than I ever did at 16 hours of being at my desk before. Everybody knows this is like entirely made up, right? But at a certain point,
the guy,
you don't
all
even...
he does is tweet, and his tweets are shittier, and there's less tweets.
But everybody just kind of respects the hustle, right? They're like, this guy is a grifter. Grifter is now, it's gone from being just a blanket negative term to now a grifter is a sort of performance artist. Like you can exist as a grifter as a category of like an entertainment person, right? There's one specific guy I'm thinking of who does this to such a degree.
Because you managed to put the picture of that guy in my head when you were saying that, and I know exactly who you're talking about, and I'm not going to say it.
We're doing the thing. Well done, guys.
We did the thing.
Saila's sitting there like rubbing himself in ecstasy, like, oh, they're doing it. We're so mysterious. Oh my god.
Your intrigue max. So intrigue maxing, if you intrigue max too much around a guy, at a certain point they'll be like, dude, stop doing this. It's super gay. But
The guy will be
girls
like,
have
"Stop
an
aura
infinite
farting, you
demand
fag."
for intrigue max. You can
Girls have infinite demand for intrigue maxing. That is absolutely the case. Yeah.
yes. And in fact, like you can tell a girl you're intrigue maxing and she will still appreciate your intrigue maxing. You should always be intrigue maxing more around women, okay?
There
Game
is a
tips
certain
for
type
you.
of girl who will continually ask you what specifically you meant by any given thing and never stop until you tell her the information, though. I will say they exist.
Yes,
Many
they
of
do.
you may even know one.
I have someone in mind that I think that you're talking about. That I know. That I think you're. Yeah. And I'm not intrigue maxing.
Sayla's fallen out of his chair now. He's like aggressively rubbing himself like, oh my god, I thought it couldn't get any better.
In fact, actually, I think when this podcast episode airs, I think I'll send it to some of these girls and I'll say, we might have been referencing.
We were
you at
referencing
one or
someone
more
that you
points.
know a lot
Someone
about.
that you know a
and then
lot
just-
about.
I
And then
think
just go,
I think we could just call it. We could a different title could be, which would be this would be insane clickbait. Is like, this podcast is about you. It would also cause so many people in Lukas and my lives to go completely insane.
All of the people in my life who can go insane are kind of doing it. Like they're already doing it without any poking from me. It's just happening spontaneously.
I think the level of poking that you put these people through on a regular basis that doesn't register as poking to you anymore is pretty high.
Yes.
I think that's the explanation.
For sure. Dude, as the guy who got like hostily edited against for like a month.
Because I used a thing in my personal life where I was like, oh, I'm behaving like Lukas right now, and like the thing is, it worked really well. But I was like, oh, okay, I can see why he does this all the time.
I'm very good at gardening my local social sphere so that like anything that annoys me is forced out. Like it's just no longer, I don't have to tolerate it. Someone will get rid of it for me. You should
guy who
ideally
disagrees-
unironically become the guy from the Drive copy.
The Drive.
The green text.
Yes.
Not the movie, but the green
guy
text.
from the green text.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the movie. So this is the other thing that's weird about that green text is the guy in the movie is not that much of a Giga Chad. He's kind of like a turbo loser, but he is like totally unaffected by his surroundings, which I guess is based.
Yeah.
But he's kind of a massive loser. Like he's into this girl who's like,
he like
a mom
falls in
who's
love
like
with a
half
random single mom.
She's not even single. She's like on and off again. And then her husband comes back and he's like, "Oh, you can have her again," which is like even worse. Right? Like
That's like never mind, I don't want it now, man. Like,
no, it's not even like never mind, I don't want it. He's like, well, I guess this is your family, your thing. Like you know, go and have it back now.
no, I'm saying like if that happens to me, I'm saying never mind, I don't want it now. Like if a guy comes back and says to me, "Oh, I see, like you really raise her kids well, bro. It's like yours." I'm like, never mind. We're both fucking out of this room. Like she can be alone.
I can accept it if the knowledge of it would piss you off, but once you accept it, forget it,
like
man,
I'm in this
out.
for the competition, bro. I'm not in this to just have a concession victory handed to me. Like, oh wow, you've really fathered that other kid well, man. You've really raised my son.
I'm very disappointed because I thought you guys, neither one of you would have seen Drive, and then we could have another section of a movie where
No,
we talk
I
about
That would've
it.
been
And
so
So
good.
the
nobody's
funny thing
seen.
about Ryan Gosling movies, I've seen, and you know this because every time anyone asks about any movie, you're all like, "Really? I would have expected that Lukas would have seen that. It's like the most popular movie of the entire last 20 years." The only movies that I have seen are all of the Ryan Gosling movies because they're on airplanes. They come preloaded. And so when I'm scrolling through all the movies, I don't really recognize any of the names or the titles or anything, but I recognize Ryan Gosling from the Twitter profile picture.
Lukas is literally just a wine mom. Lukas is just a wine mom who's really into wine, Ryan Gosling, and like humiliates her husband. Like, he's so hot, honey. Can we go watch the Ryan Gosling movie? Like, just scrolling through the banners looking for Ryan Gosling's face on the plane.
Well, so I've seen the Blade Runner one. I've seen the Drive one. There's another one that I watched. Yeah, but this is my. I haven't watched the Barbie one. That's one that I just can't bring myself.
I haven't watched the Barbie one. The
saw,
psyop there was so
5
crazy.
minutes of it, and I just gave up.
I just can't watch the Barbie movie on a plane in front of people. Like, I have so little shame, but this is beyond even me.
It's not a shame thing. I just don't think there was the super forced meme about Barbenheimer at the time where it's like, oh, we go see Barbie and then we go see Oppenheimer. Haha. Isn't that so funny? And it's like, isn't it so funny how you're total cattle who the studio executives have managed to get you to double your spend on movies? And it's like, you're stupid. You're just so stupid, man.
Well, how about the whole the discussion about, oh, Barbie is actually secretly based? No, it's not.
I've heard people saying that Barbie is actually like a secret under the table fascist commentary. The one movie that I will say this is actually true about is the Angry Birds movie. Angry Birds, I think I've mentioned this before.
Dude, the Angry Birds movie is crazy.
The Angry Birds movie. Have you guys all seen it? Because I remember the first time I watched it, I watched it in college.
You've actually seen it? Fuck, that sucks. I was about to say,
yeah, this ruins
we
the
all
segment.
confirm we haven't watched it so that we can properly discuss it.
Dude, the list of movies that I've watched is winding up to be really crazy.
Every Ryan
Angry
Gosling
Birds,
movie.
Every Ryan Gosling movie.
The based Angry Birds movie.
But I remember the whole time sitting through it, and I was watching this with a group of people who were like...
Did you watch this when it came out, or did you watch this after when people were like, yo, this is so based?
I think it's on Netflix or something. And I was just over at a house party and someone put it on and I'm looking around at everyone dude, are you guys fucking seeing this? Do you guys not understand what they're saying? But they're totally normal, college left-leaning people. And I can't start. I'm like, dude, it's like a critique of Muslim immigration during the Trump year. Holy, and the eagle is he's fat because it's a commentary on the decayed state of the Western American empire. Oh my,
It is so on the nose. It is so on the nose that you wonder how they ever greenlit. It's banging you over the head.
The pigs literally have the Arab beards. It's cartoonish, bro.
It's so funny, dude. Yeah, this came out in 2016 too. You would have thought that the world was. You would have thought that the world was worried enough about Trump that people would have realized wait, this movie is super based. What's going on?
I don't think so. I think that it's actually, you see the reaction. Everything that reacts to Trump is after he's elected because they all expected him to lose.
Well, but this was. I mean, I don't know. When did this come out?
But if it came out in 2016, then it was in production long before 2016, especially an animated thing.
It premiered May 7th, so it was long before the election, but still, what a crazy...
There's no way that the person who made this movie was a liberal. It's not possible.
Yeah, many such cases, though.
The birds were the good guys, right?
Dude, it's so funny also how these movies that are based always make $1 trillion. I'm reading through the Wikipedia right now, and it says... It was projected to gross $35 to $40 million, and it's it grossed $107 million. The only movie that has made money ever. And then it's it made $244 million in other territories.
Dude, you know what we should do? We should react to the Angry Birds movie. That would be such an epic soy jack moment for the podcast. We should have a podcast movie night in our Discord where we do a live reaction.
Oh my god, dude, it's all coming full circle. Ryan Gosling, so the Nice Guys came out that same same time, Ryan Gosling, who starred in the Nice Guys, blames the Angry Birds movie for the film's commercial failure.
Oh, because it
Angry
was
Birds
up
was so
against the
dominant at
Angry
the box
Birds.
office that it boxed out Ryan Gosling, dude.
That's so funny. Like,
That's
I would have gotten
crazy.
more views if the Angry Birds movie hadn't been. Imagine doing
If
this
the
on like
Angry
Twitter
Birds
or
movie
something.
wasn't
Like,
so
my
freaking
tweet would have
based.
gotten more likes if Saila didn't post that banger on Friday.
If his tweet wasn't so based, my tweet would have done better.
It was just a bad time, but the content was all there.
Dude, I'm like reading through the reception and no one is talking about the political thing. Like no one is discussing
I know
it at
that
all.
was the craziest part. I watched it and you just I don't know, man. Obviously, you're
What a
not going to be in a group of
crazy
like
thing,
normal
dude.
left centrist leaning STEM students and have them all start like, dude, we should in response to the Angry Birds movie. But I expected somebody to notice some of these aren't like subtle, nuanced motifs. These are like the most glaringly, blatantly obvious symbols that I've ever seen in movies, right? You know how your wife is always sitting there saying like, what did he mean by that? Or like, what happened here in the movie? She would not ask that once in the Angry Birds movie. It would be so apparent to even your wife what was going on here.
Lucas has a very high opinion of my theoretical wife.
So I will say the cope that was always deployed about the Angry Birds movie is that it's about colonialism and not immigration, which is obviously not true if you're not. But it is actually kind of a good way to like see, like crypto have this theme in your movies. You can just go, oh, it's about colonialism, not about immigration. Don't pay attention to the beards. It's like
Did they
Those
make
are
a
like the
sequel?
beards of Thomas Jefferson. You may be
like
familiar
this
with
one
Thomas
woman
Jefferson, right? You
wrote in
did
the
read history.
Atlantic. This one movie actually says that like is comparing Donald Trump to the pigs.
Oh my god.
I just don't understand because they literally have the like the bald eagle is like the king of Team Bird. You could not have made it more obvious. Whatever. I'm like, if you many people, I presume, haven't seen the Angry Birds movie because it would be insane, right? Like, how many of our viewers can possibly have seen this?
Apparently,
So
more people than saw the Nice Guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say
bro.
a lot of people have seen it.
Yeah, apparently a lot of
Based on
Dude,
the box
well,
office
this is like the
numbers.
sort of thing that I feel like if you have young kids over the age of 5, they just drag you to. Your life becomes a living hell unless you take them to the Angry Birds movie. You know what I mean? That's
it's
also probably
really
why no one
funny
really got.
as a concept to make an entire movie and plot line over a game that's like a tower defense thing where you launch birds with a slingshot.
It's a good movie, sir.
It's like if you made a Tetris movie, right?
Well,
I
years
think
Like,
they
ago,
how
there
did
made
they
was
a
even
Tetris
find the
movie.
content for this within the game?
Well,
I
years
think
ago
they
there
made
was this.
multiple Tetris movies actually.
That's
What?
not surprising. Years ago, there was like, you guys remember Funny or Die, like a very early internet thing. Like they
Yeah.
like used to make videos. There was a Funny or Die video where they were like making fun of the concept of making movies about non-narrative games, and like the thing was like they made a preview for like the Minesweeper, the game. And they're like, why are these mines even here? Was like a comment from like the fake trailer that they made for it. But they actually did it with Angry Birds apparently, and it was massively successful.
I feel like all of the jokes that everyone made early internet wound up.
Yeah, just being real.
Yeah, like people took them farther than anyone ever wanted them to, and then they were like, actually, this was funny and we should have done it sooner.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think they
So-
made a second movie after, which was super libtarded. Oh my god, there's a second sequel coming. Oh my god, they're making a third one of these. It's coming out, dude.
Dude, they definitely after they realized that they had gotten tricked into making the most fascist movie of the last 20 years through Angry Birds 1, they definitely chained this guy to the radiator and said, "We're going to have to." You have to write communist slop for the next 60 years, or else you are going down in the Epstein open book.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
think
so in the second one, they literally say like the birds are forced to team up with the pigs to stop the leader from destroying both of their islands. Like it Oh, jeez.
could not be more on the nose. Like you will atone for making the first movie too based. You
Oh
have to
my
make a really
god.
soy movie now. I'm picturing the James Bond scene where he's getting tortured by the guy. He's like, make it really soy. Like they're hitting him while he's strapped in the chair.
Do you see there's a clip? I saw this on the timeline and I like didn't believe it. There was like a still from like the last James Bond movie that they wrote where Daniel Craig as James Bond is on the back of a Vespa being like ridden by like the black woman that's in the movie that's like apparently taking over as James Bond for him. And he's like, not only is he on a Vespa, not only is James Bond on a Vespa, he's on the back of a Vespa, like hanging on to the woman as she drives. It's just the most like I'm like, this is a James Bond movie. Are you kidding me? Do you just hate your character? Do you hate the brand? I mean, obviously they do, but it's like this is a movie that's ostensibly made to make money. Like somebody actually pitched this with like, yes, we are going to put this out there and we are going to make a good return on this, and somebody believed it. And it just seems
Do you
ridiculous.
think they actually believe that it will make a return?
No, no, not the people making it. The people making it, no. But like, I think that like
I
when
think
they
there's a
sell
difference
it to
between the
people,
studio execs and then
yeah,
the
the finance,
producers.
yeah,
Yeah, the finance guys don't really care. And the thing is, a movie takes a long time to make. And so it's kind of one of these things where like maybe you greenlight the movie and you get paid a bonus based on the money you're spending or whatever. And then who knows if you're still around at the studio by the time it actually comes out. And if you are still around, maybe you're one of the people whose job just is mega secure and it doesn't matter at all, right? And like Disney, most of these guys make money off of secondary streams, or they make money off of rerunning sequels on existing franchises for a trillion years. So it just doesn't matter. The one thing you can do is you can make a new movie that's actually really really good, like Obsession or whatever. I think the great innovation with Obsession is that it's a great premise, and I think Western media has always had worse premises, and Eastern media has almost always had better premises. I think Western media needs to upgrade and get better premises.
yeah, I agree. The thing, by the way, the one thing about James Bond that where it differs from that a little bit is that like the character James Bond is owned by like one particular family. Like, so it's not actually like they work with the studio, but like it's like the character is owned by one particular family. So they eventually
Yeah,
sold
but
like
that's like the
Amazon.
thing where like you must study war so that your children can study finance, so that your children
Yeah.
can make like a gay reenactment of Hamilton. And it's like you must write base James Bond stories so that your
Yeah, so that
children
way you're
can monetize them and their children can subvert the entire meaning of the whole thing.
yeah, well, to make up for the fact that you made money off of it in the first place.
Yes. Yeah, well, the other thing I think about James Bond is they're trying to change it a lot because it's entering the public domain relatively soon. It enters the public domain in 2035 in Europe.
Oh wow.
So, yeah.
When did I thought like isn't like Superman entering the public domain really soon?
A lot of this stuff is entering the public domain lately, and so my suspicion is that the reason they're pushing Supergirl and stuff like this and whatever is
Hmm.
because um, a lot of this stuff is just entering the public domain very soon, and so they can't, like, they're gonna be screwed. Especially, dude, imagine how scared you have to be as a studio exec today when all these characters are entering the public domain, and then there's AI that has been trained on the movies and the likeness of these characters. Like, it's not only that your character is hyper successful, and so a lot of people want it. It's not only that. It's not only that you've subverted your character, and people want to subvert the subversion and go back to an unironic, unapologetic non-parody of the original that is even more intense in many cases. But on top of that, like Mickey Mouse, Superman, Batman, James Bond, all these people, you have tons of hours of content that you can, easily throw into AI and have it spit it out, right? Super easily. So, Lucas, I need to ask: are activated charcoal pills a meme? Because my gut has not been great. I'm curious. Is this like a meme? Should I do it or
It's
no?
just so faceless, like Lucas, Lucas, my tummy hurts. Am I supposed to eat the rocks? Activated charcoal. It's not like the deactivated, like the normal charcoal. It's been active.
Well, one of my friends, I'm traveling with friends right now, and one of them was like, "Oh, dude, I have these activated charcoal pills," and I was gonna do the same thing where I make fun of them, but I was like, I probably shouldn't make fun of the guy offering me charcoal, like offering me something in my moment of not feeling good. I looked it up.
No,
Apparently, what activating charcoal means is just you're basically increasing the surface area on it by doing a bunch of
yes,
chemical
yes.
Grind
processes.
it
That's why
down,
it's
right?
so funny. It's been.
It's such a
like,
good meme.
it's
to
not
sell.
a normal rock. It's not the normal rock. We made it into a bunch of smaller rocks. It's active.
It's such a good sales meme though. Activated is like a great word. Like it's
This
not
is my
thing,
activated
it's
MacBook.
activated thing.
Well, it also implies that all of your competition has been deactivated somehow.
Yes, exactly, dude. Like imagine who at the store is looking at like, oh, I have the activated charcoal over here, but no, I'm gonna buy deactivated charcoal. It's
It's fine. It's fine.
uncomputable,
Activated charcoal is one of those things where it's like, yeah, charcoal's good and stuff, and it'll get your toxins and whatnot. But I'm a very big believer that for most stomach pain, most of this shit is a meme, and it's just gonna suck. The best you can hope for is to just hydrate a lot. And I really like drinking electrolytes because it just you lose all the fluids. But
Dude, I really like this movie thing we've got going on. Maybe we'll come back with like a piece of media we haven't consumed.
Sayla, are you aware that this is like the running gag with podcasts? Is every podcast that is formed eventually devolves into
Movie
media
criticism.
reviews because they've run out of all other forms of content?
Okay, never mind. We can't do it anymore.
It's like episode 17, out of ideas.
Okay, we're on more than episode 17 by now, I feel like.
I'm so glad
Episode-
I could be here for the episode when we officially run out of ideas on the
The
pod.
final episode, the final original episode before we devolve into a Ryan Gosling movie review channel. We only review, but we don't even review the movies. We review like Patrick Bateman edits that we find on Twitter.
So good.
I think it's really funny how the Patrick Bateman avatar has become. It's gone so many full self-awareness loops at this point where if you see someone, it's like this could be a guy whose very first day of internet use was today, or it could be somebody who is on his like 900 millionth burner account and he knows every single thing that's ever happened throughout all of internet history, right? From when it started with Gamergate all through the current events that we're going about now.
Yeah. I think the big lesson with Patrick Bateman is never like normies. An ironic critique never works. Like if you present your enemy as like, oh, I'm gonna ironically make this guy super jacked, you can never do that. It just doesn't work as a function of critique. The human brain is.
Yeah, it's the same as, and like this comes back in this is another one that's like, I feel like this is more Twitter slop than anything else, but it's like, oh, have we had our quarterly discussion of Starship Troopers yet? Because that's exactly what Starship Troopers was. It was like he hates fascism, and yet he presents this movie that everyone for the next X number of years is going to talk about. Is he endorsing it or not?
Yeah,
I don't know
man,
if I
that's
ever
what
saw
you
it or-
think because you're a first-year film major and you think Starship Troopers is a really profound commentary on fascism. Unlike you, I'm enlightened and I prefer to take my fascism commentary from Angry Birds 2015, 2016, which is the pinnacle of fascism discussion.
I like that you have to give the year now because we've learned that there's so many Angry Birds movies that it
There's
could have been
3
any one
Angry-
of like 7.
It's also such an epic like film snob thing to be like, Angry Birds parentheses 2016. It's such an epic film snob.
It's another one of those, like, this is something that I think our podcast does a lot in general, is like the high-low meme, where you have something very lowbrow done in a highbrow way, or very highbrow done at the most base. And
Yeah,
like,
we love doing this. We do this all the time. It's good.
We're like, wow, the joke
I'm just
is
a big
the
fan of
contrast.
counter-signaling myself while I am doing the thing.
The best example of not being able to do an actual ironic critique that I can think of is, do you remember the cryptocurrency GEOBODEN? Where it was this coin that was making fun of Joe Biden, and this coin was one of the big early runners in like 2024, maybe 2023 even, went up super high, and everyone was like, no, it's actually going to be good when Joe Biden embarrasses himself because the coin is making fun of him, and everyone will know to buy it if he embarrasses himself, because that's like, and they started doing this weird like recursive cope loop, because basically Biden just got ousted as being a senile puppet, I guess, like someone who he's being like remote controlled by somebody who attached some sort of electrodes to his spinal column. And of course the coin just starts going down when he stops being a candidate, because like, what is your interest in Joe Biden now that he's no longer running for president? Has anyone ever cared less about any person? He just instantly dropped out of relevancy. But they were all saying, no, you should be buying the coin because that's exactly what the joke is. And everyone was like, yeah, I don't get it. I'm not buying.
But like, there's no joke anymore. Like when Joe Biden said that we're going to build a rail connection across the Indian Ocean, like, you know, like from the west coast of America to India, we're gonna make a rail connection. That's like a serious, like, okay, you could make fun of Joe Biden for that, but you can't make fun of Joe Biden for anymore. It's like, yeah, he's a guy who has like oatmeal for brains, and he's not
like he's
not running for president
I think Joe Biden.
You're out here like, oh, dude,
no
that
joke.
dementia patient is so evil and retarded, and you're like, I guess, man.
I mean, yeah, he's not a good guy, but he's also
that Joe Biden was secretly based and destroyed the Democratic Party as his last act.
I mean, that's
I always love this take. This is like one of those repeatable takes that you can find multiple places to do. Like, you can do this with a sports franchise or whatever. I think Joe Biden was secretly based, and his dying wish was to destroy the Democratic Party. That's my take.
But I buy that Joe Biden intentionally sabotaged them, because he didn't even make the choice to drop out of the race in the first place. Because
like, I assumed that he was using it as some sort of like a blackmail thing, where he was like, I will drop out if you give me this. And they were like, I don't want to do that. And he was like, okay,
I just don't think he wanted to drop out, actually.
He didn't want to drop out. He didn't. I mean, the guy's always been like, has been running for president since like the freaking 80s, right? And yeah, no, he didn't want to drop out. And like they had like some intern got access to his social media and was like, Joe Biden, this is me. Really, I am Joe Biden. I'm resigning. I'm not going to run for president anymore. And then he was like remember he was in isolation, like nobody could reach him for like a few weeks because he was at the beach. Do you remember that? He went to like Maryland. He went to the beach in Maryland and nobody could reach him. Or Delaware. I don't remember.
I remember he would have all these bizarre incidents where he would just disappear. Joe Biden really did change the understanding of America insofar as the average person no longer believes in a presidency anymore, really, right? Like, it's clearly a function that can be performed by lizard people operating puppets, as we have been shown. Nobody knows if Trump is even doing anything, right? Like, Trump might be Trump, for all we know, is not actually connected to any of the actions going on. Maybe it's Marco Rubio, but Trump is going around and he's just doing podcasts in public and like speeches and stuff like that. But it's just totally destroyed the idea of president as authority figure in the U.S., I think. And it introduced this common understanding of a shadow government.
I think people have always wanted wholesome Chungus president for a long time. I just think people have wanted wholesome Chungus president for the longest time. Like, people don't want scary fucking leader. That's the person you put in the Secretary of State. That's your Henry Kissinger. You can't have that guy in the You know, he can be calling the shots, but he can't be in the driver's seat. It's got
In
to be
other words, the
somebody else in the
platonic
driver's seat.
ideal of the president is just like a genial, affable guy like Reagan or something like that, who just like goes out there and he's like,
Well, I think if
he's
Trump
like,
wasn't so polarizing, if Trump was
yeah.
not so polarizing, he would clearly fit the bill for like the most American president, like stereotypical American president.
I
Do you
mean, the
think
guy
this
is
is
Trump
the
what
would have
Japan
embodiment of
thinks of.
America.
Do you think Trump would have done well 40 years ago? Like the version of Trump that could have existed 40 years ago. Do you think that he
Well,
would have
that's
been
a very different. Those are
less
two very
polarizing?
different questions.
It's also an impossible question to answer because
I
now
think
you
that's
have to
basically
imagine what...
Kennedy. Is Kennedy not basically just Trump?
I could see it. I could see the ways in which
He's
he's
like a
similar.
movie star. He wants to destroy the deep state.
I mean, how
He's
much? How
kind of a
deep you?
whore.
Well, how deep do you want to go historically? Because the interesting thing about Kennedy was that his father, his father was in like that. His father was the ambassador to the UK under FDR, and he was a significant figure in American politics because he sort of represented the urban ethnics in the FDR coalition.
The
And
urban ethnics.
in other words, the Catholics and the Irish, the Catholics, the Irish, the Italians,
Oh
like
my
the
God.
Poles.
He
What?
said the urban ethnics. I thought it was some sort of a coded language. I thought you were doing racism, and then you're like, it's the Irish.
No.
He is doing
Okay, no.
racism, but just from like the 1950s, bro.
No, it's not racism. It's like literally, one, that's what they were called. And two, like all of the cities got now.
It's not racism. That's what they were called.
Here's racism. No, here's racism. Yeah, all right, well, there's that. But like, here's racism is like the cities got purged in like the 70s, in like starting in like the 60s and 70s, and then that's when like the cities kind of got taken over and like we're no longer dominated by like that was the term that they used for like the Catholic urban, the urban Catholics, and then they all like got pushed to the suburbs, right? But like so JFK was the surviving brother when his older brother got killed in the war in like a ridiculous fashion. Actually, like they were trying to make bombers that were cruise missiles that they loaded the bombers up with napalm and they were just crashing them into city centers in Germany, and he was like supposed to fly it up and then parachute out and then let the bomb let the bomber like kamikaze into like the middle of a city, and he was killed during one of those flights. So that was the brother that Joe Kennedy, who was the father, wanted as the political figure. And I feel like this has gone completely in the wrong direction for you guys' podcast.
Dude, I really want to have one of the people from the Nixon Foundation on to talk about the strategy they're doing, because they're investing into editors that are doing edits. And this follows one of my big theories, which is the edit is the native. It's the native in the same way that, the movie is kind of the native media format of the 20th century. I think the edit is the native media format of the 21st century.
Yeah, the short form video clip. There's a guy who I have in my DMs and I retweet him all the time. He like makes these fantastic edits. Like he did one for like Julius Caesar. It was like amazing. It was so good.
I think the edit more so than just short form. I think there's a difference between the edit and the short form. I think edits are very interesting because they can communicate vibe with zero substance. And then you got a bunch of people being like, oh, Julius Caesar's mega based. They don't know anything about Julius Caesar, but he looks based as hell in the edit. So they're like, yo, he's based.
Should I give a plug to the guy? I really like his stuff.
Yeah,
Should I
dude, plug the guy. I don't care.
It's Semyaza Speaks is the guy, and he just has like I'm looking at our DMs. He's got like a great, like a fantastic Julius Caesar one, and then like he did a Nixon one too. So like you just reminded me of that. I think he did.
So there was one Nixon.
He didn't do a Nixon.
There's a bunch of Nixon ones that the Nixon Foundation had.
Different guy did.
To my understanding,
this guy does like
commissioned for them. Like they
sense.
commissioned it, which I think is super based also and very like forward of them. Like whoever's running the Nixon Foundation deserves a round of applause, because it's quite impressive to be someone who's running something like that and we're going to invest a bunch of money in edits. Like that's in my opinion.
How do you
very,
even
very
like align the incentives like that? Like how do you align the incentives to like actually get the Nixon Foundation to like want to make Nixon like increase the Nixon prestige. You know what I mean? Like, how do you do
Well, you
that?
need a good director of your foundation, which is it's just a succession problem. How do you get a
Yeah.
good person who runs the org correctly?
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right, but it's like, how do you
But I
find a
think the other
director
part
who's
of the
like really
puzzle, which is
dedicated?
maybe what you're really asking, is like, how do you get someone who can both be like a foundation director, but also understand the soft power of edits as a capacity for changing public perception about things without actually ever arguing on the substance? Like, I think Nixon edits have changed public opinion about Nixon much more than, all these people doing their reprisals of, hey, what happened between the Nixon and the FBI, or Nixon and the deep state, et cetera. I think a lot more people care about how, Nixon's giga based in this edit.
I think you're right, but I also think that it's the background. That it's like you have to do the work in the background, and
No,
then
and you
once you
can
do
do
the
both,
intellectual
right?
work in the
Doing
background,
both is probably very useful. It's a good strategy to go high and go low, like go across.
yeah,
But I mean, if you look at, people just don't read anymore. Like, is the
no,
reality, right? So what you want to do is you want to give people a bite-sized thesis that they can share with their friends, the one in every 50 people, 100 people who will actually read. And then everyone else, you want to just give them the edit. And then the people with the edit go, oh, did you see this funny based Nixon edit? And then the one friend who does read goes, well, did you know, like, this came out and blah, 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 and whatever else.
or you have the one friend who reads and he's on your podcast and he spurgs out about Kennedy.
Yes. Truth, dude. But that's what we have you here for, okay? One of us needs to actually consume consume primary media.
Well, no, I think this is actually funny because actually like, yeah, I'm like the generation and like I listen to the podcast. I'm like the one generation ahead of Lukas, and then I listen to the podcast and I'm like, oh, okay, that one thing that neither one of them know. Like, all right, I know that.
Yeah.
I
But
think
like,
he's been listening to all of our episodes being like, wow, I am the last generation that consumed media longer than 3 minutes.
I mean, yeah, I feel like in a lot of ways I'm a man at a time. Like I can communicate across generation gaps, and I don't think that this is a common skill for people. I think a lot of people like lose their cognitive flexibility, even like not even when they get that old, but when they get just older.
Yeah, you always have to be so much more direct in communication now. This is something that, I mean, you get this because Twitter 4 years ago, you could be very subtle, you could be very vague, you could imply a lot of things, and people would still understand what you were saying. Now,
Yeah.
you have to hit the people. You have to say, this is what I mean. This is what I'm saying. This is the conclusion. And then if you don't say that, you'll realize, because every single comment will say something like, what do you mean by this? And you're like, fuck, I guess I just have to come out and say the thing.
So I told you this. And if we save this for the later portion, because this is like, I feel like this is like evil knowledge to put out in the world, and I almost don't want to say it. But like I discovered the accidentally from talking with somebody about like, oh, how does this happen? And then like I kind of thought about it and reviewed and realized how and why people like go viral and what takes get big and like how to make a big take. And the answer is you want to have a statement that some people agree with and some people disagree with, but then you don't want to make the best possible case for it. You want to make a
Yes.
case for it that the people against it feel like they can argue against it because it's like, oh, that's so stupid. Let me point out the error.
Yeah, it's not concrete, and it shouldn't even be that it's necessarily a bad case. It can also be a case that has a lot of holes,
Yeah.
generalizations, or assumed or implied gaps in understanding, right?
Mm-hmm.
It should literally just be something that causes the average person who's unfamiliar with you and the algorithmic sphere that you exist in to misinterpret you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then that gets like the PvP engagement. And then once you do that, it's like it's over because then it explodes.
Yeah.
And then it's funny because I discovered that I do this. When I do this, I do it by accident only because I always want to be clear. And like the things though is that not everything that's clear to me is clear to everybody, just because that's like life, right? You don't know what everybody knows. Yeah. So, but then I realized it's like, oh, okay, you people don't think that I know this, or don't think that I took that into account, and so that's why you're attacking this.
Yeah, it's one of
I
those
think
things where everybody who's been posting for long enough has they've all sort of developed like you'll have one algosphere that you will feel screaming at you when you're typing one thing a certain way, and you'll realize that you have to add some other piece of information to make them understand. And then you say something different, and there's another sphere that you imagine screaming, and so you have to. And it's just this whole thing of constructing this rhetorical. It's like those rubber band balls of just all of this shit that you have to package in to try and avoid 95 different misinterpretations. And then that is one option. And the other option is just say exactly what first comes into your head, and all of these people scream at you, and it goes gigaviral. And you're like, well, which one is better in the end?
And the funny thing is, it's like, yeah, I keep optimizing for the first one all the time. Like, I keep optimizing for building like the.
Well, now I would prefer. There was a period where I was like intentionally being vague and unclear because I basically wanted to see what would go viral, right? I had a solid year. This was when I had like the thing where I had a girl avatar for a day. I was just doing a bunch of virality hacks to see what works, what doesn't.
One day? You only had that.
It was literally one day. I gained 14,000 followers in one day by having a woman avatar.
I had somebody in my replies who had like, I talked to him. I eventually DM'd him, and like, it was like he had like, I think it's like a faraway picture of like Khloe Kardashian or something like that as his avatar, and I'm like, why did you do that? He's like, watch how many followers I gain, and then like in like 2 days he went from like nothing to like 15,000. It's just it's such a hack. Yeah, it's
really really stupid. The only problem is the people who follow women just don't actually read or communicate with the women at all. The thing that I notice is you get all of these comments that are just completely unrelated to everything that you said. People basically just come to you with whatever problems they had that day, or like whatever specific insecurities were triggered by whatever you said. But it's not even necessarily directly related to your post. It's like if you make some post about how you really like the beach and it makes them feel poor because they can't afford to go to the beach, they'll react in a way as if you called them poor, right? Yeah. It's just this infinite tidal wave of, I don't know. And then
because the joke, but the joke is that it's actually like, I think that like if it's an actual woman on the other side of it, that's certainly a possibility that was the aim of the woman communicating it in the first place. Like, it's just a difference between female and male communication. And it's like, these people are actually probably better. These people are probably decoding the communication better by like not actually looking at the words and like just kind of like getting the vibe. And it's like, okay, what is this tweet meant to evoke in me? And then that must be the purpose of it. But that's the thing I was arguing earlier about this case with what's her name, the woman who the Leo who didn't kill her cubs.
It might be real. I don't know. My one day of, I just very quickly did the math, and I said, I can be infinitely famous as an internet woman, but nobody will ever read anything that I say or take me seriously at all. I was like, well, that's pointless. It defeats the entire point of the internet. Why would I use this even? Yeah.
I mean, it's, it's nice. It's nice where like you go out there and you say things and people listen to what you say. It's actually great. Like it feels fantastic.
Well, the crazy thing also is because I was also anonymous at the time, and there were so many girls who would do that thing where they're like, you don't know what it's like to be on a girl on the internet. It's like, actually, no, I do know. I've had more interaction with people in one day while pretending to be a girl than you've ever had engagements ever before on this site. Like I have a pretty good idea of what it's like, but you also can just be anonymous. Like there's no reason that you have to be a girl on the internet. And they always get very mad when you point this out, because you're basically saying like you want the upsides without the downsides, and that's not allowed. And they just want they just want the upsides.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I want the good things that happen when I have a female profile picture, but I don't like the way that you don't take me seriously and that you are hostile to me for XYZ reasons. Or I don't even think they care that much about the being taken seriously part, if we're being honest. I don't think that factors in for them.
I don't think they do. I think in a lot of ways they don't. But like I think that I don't know, like them, but then they say it. So why do they say it?
There's a specific type of girl that will complain about it, but the majority of them are sort of instrumental about it, and they're just like, this is fine. This is how it is.
Yeah.
We had years and years and years. All these graphics cards, man. We have transistors that are like one atom away from each other. We can do all this weird ray tracing and particle physics, and it's all towards the end of like rendering grains of sand. And only now are we realizing, like, wait, these GPUs, we can actually use them to serve like superintelligence also. They're like, oh, that's a way better use than
way better use than
but like
we're gonna
all of the technological development that we put into GPUs up until this last point was towards the end of rendering video games. Like, that's totally insane.
I mean, I guess we're gonna have to update the cycle, and it's not just for stuffing fried meat down throats, and it'll be for creating cutting edge video cards to make simulated transforming guns that turn into alien robots.
The reload animations too. I don't know. I was thinking about this recently because I recently just bought a ton of GPUs. And I was like, wow, it's really good that these video game things randomly work as well as they do for, like, matrix multiplications. And then I was thinking more and more about, like, how this came to be, and I realized, like, we either really lucked out or we are just, we're being trolled in some divine way by God, right?
Or it's, I mean, I guess, the extremely boring answer is that, like, no, actually, it turns out that matrix multiplication is like kind of a fundamental force of the universe. Like, I don't know, like if you ever try to come up with something that's funny, like you read a statement and then like in your head, you turn it around and you make it into like the backwards version of the statement, or you make it into the opposite version of the statement, and they all like flash through your head in an instant. And you're like, oh, that one was funny. And then you like say the funny one. Like, and it's because it's like your brain is just instinctively doing matrix multiplications and transforms on the original language. It's like it's got some kind of like representation, and then you're doing like a transform on the representation.
Yeah, there definitely is like an algorithmic function when you're writing anything. When you're writing a hook, it's literally a predetermined set of possibilities that you run through, and then you have like a predetermined set of words that you use as your impact words. As I've written more, I've become more and more cognizant of like how easily I could be replaced by an intelligently trained matrix multiplier.
Well, part of it, yeah, but part of it, absolutely. But that's like, it goes back to what we were saying earlier, and I don't know if the earlier bit's going to stay in, but like part of what we do is very similar to emitting the way LLMs emit tokens. Like part of what we do when we talk, but that's not all of what we do. Like we also filter it.
There is fundamental reasoning at times, but for most people, at most times, probably not.
Yeah. Well,
I'm mostly just we're podcasting. I'm here to emit tokens, bro. I'm not here to do recursive reasoning.
I'm here to emit tokens and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum. You see, that's humor, that's funny, and that is pure like matrix multiplication. I'm like, oh look, I have a library of quotes of like, oh, do two things and substitute out the one thing.
How many people took linear algebra? Like, how common of a course is this?
Not very.
Pretty common.
Oh, okay.
So the problem is that Saila might actually be so business major pilled that when we say linear algebra, he's thinking like y equals mx plus b, and he's thinking basic.
Jesus. That would be epic, though. I think that'd be so giga chat of me.
I don't know what the linear part means, but I mean, fuck, everybody took algebra. What are you talking about, Lucas?
Because I remember it was like half of the engineering majors didn't have to take linear algebra for some reason. If you were an EE, you did. I definitely didn't have to do it for any of the business stuff, but
I didn't have to do it for econ, but I ended up doing it anyway.
I had to do it for econ. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I might have.
I'm going to be honest. All that stuff went in and out. Like the only thing schooling taught me was like how to memorize things for 3-month periods of time. That's it. That's entirely what I learned. I'm sure I could pick it up again like relatively quickly, because what would happen is like you would pick it up and then forget and then like stop using it. It's a very weird system. You would relearn it. modern schooling is such a weird system, dude. Did you see that result that like Mississippi now has the best demographics adjusted educational program in the country? Pretty crazy. No.
Is it even now? I thought they always had a pretty good demographic adjusted program. It's just that nobody ever shows the demographic adjusted numbers.
No, I think they were
it was
terrible
bad
before.
and it got better.
Yeah,
They were
because
really
what
bad
happened?
before.
Yeah, because what happened was that they like all of the like northern schools went and like they were like, oh no, phonics is nonsense, and like they stopped teaching kids how to read because that's the only way to close like
We should try phrasing it as this is the only way to equalize like the high and low outcomes. It's like they're trying basically to just apply like a soft maxing function across all distributions of tests to make sure that they're all it's all the same.
I think what happened is like some kids just couldn't do phonics, and so then they just like don't teach it to anyone. Like
I think
so
what
that no one learns. Like if all the kids aren't going to learn it, no one's going to learn it.
I think what they did was they said allegedly, and I don't know how true this is, but they said that actually I think this is true, but like they said, oh, the best readers like learn phonics and then they do whole word reading and then they just see the words and they're like, well, we'll just teach everybody to be like the best readers. But that's not how they do it. That's like a level of mastery that like people don't get to. So they just like, you see videos of people now, they can't read. Like just videos of like read this text and people just cannot like
it's like a 19-year-old person. Like this isn't and they appear to be able to verbalize the fact that they can't read fairly well also. Like this isn't someone who's so stupid that the grasp of words is beyond them. It's a person who maybe 20 years ago would have been literate by age 5.
Or let's calm down with literate, because literate kind of I think is implies some things that are not.
They would have been able to LARP literate, right? Like none of
they
us
would have
are
been able
really
to
literate. But
they would have been able to decode letters into words, and then whether or not they were able to take meaning from those words that they were looking at, totally different question. But they definitely would have been able to do that 10 years ago, and now they just can't. And now they just like look at things and it's just a mystery, which I guess
I look at many things and it's a mystery, but it does appear that the number of mysteries in the world is growing as we go down the age cohort. I think I've always wondered what the actual forcing function is for making everybody like they're clearly normalizing stuff, but I didn't understand if it was like we're taking the pattern that the best use and then we're applying it to everyone and realizing that it is so ineffectual at teaching that everybody just goes to 0, or if it was something like they start grading based on like a teacher will get a better score if they have a more equal distribution in the class. Maybe they won't necessarily say that to them, right? But if you have a teacher who somehow gets all of their students like 98%, and you have a teacher who gets half of them 100 and half of them 50%. And the second teacher gets reprimanded because you failed to teach half your class, and the first one is heralded as some sort of academic genius. Then it appears that what everyone would be incentivized to do is just say, yeah, all of our exams are like horseshit easy. You can just write whatever you want and I'll give you 100, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's kind of what happened with Harvard too. So that's why I think that might have happened with everything, because if it can happen to Harvard, presumably it can happen to an elementary school, right? Like the average grade coming out of Harvard now, the average GPA is A-. So, I
mean, you would expect, I mean, it's an interesting question, because I guess it's just they're so fragile that they couldn't take it. They couldn't take it any other way.
I don't even think it's that. I think when you're paying $80,000 a year for this product, it's like, the product is the credential. The product is not the learning.
Yeah.
Like we're post the idea that college like teaches you things. And you can tell this is true because like, for example, like Lukas, how many people in SF do we know who went to like UMich? Like UMich is like the top breeder of talent in SF. It's insane. It's literally everyone we know. I think there is this view in which like there's no longer a pretension that you're purchasing an education. There's an understanding that you're purchasing a credential, and like the credential has this price tag, effectively.
Yeah.
And so you can't give people a bad grade if you're making them pay that price tag. It's not feasible.
But wouldn't you think, and wouldn't, maybe it's lack of confidence, because I would think
Wouldn't
that,
you
like,
think?
okay,
No.
no, you wouldn't. But
Yeah.
wouldn't you think that, like you could discount it? You're like, okay, Harvard has these tremendous standards for, in theory, these tremendous standards for getting in the first place, and then all your grade means where do you rank within the people who are in Harvard. And then if you look at it, you're like, okay, everybody at this second school are people who couldn't get into Harvard in the first place. So if I come out with a B average or a C average, then that still is above the ranking of this other school. Like, so then the question is, why do they grade inflate in that way? Like, it just doesn't seem to make sense to me. But the thing is, whenever you see something that doesn't make sense, it just means somebody is optimizing for something different than
Yeah,
you
well,
think they're
it's
optimizing
you want to
for.
be able to have your kids say, I got straight A's going to school. Like, this is my GPA. And so it's like every school has an incentive to optimize their own GPA. And so I think when schools now do like, hey, we're not optimizing GPA, they have to also do a whole public push of like, hey, by the way, we're not like totally LARPing our GPA, because otherwise people will be like, why would I, like, oh, what the fuck? Like, half your kids have like B's.
Yeah.
Like, why would I hire any of these kids? Because in a grade inflated world, you can't tell, like, a kid who has a B is like genuinely like
Yeah,
quasi
I mean
retarded.
it is also like a hiring thing, right? Like if you're going for your
Yeah.
internship or your first job out of college, and
You
like
have no credential, nothing. Yeah, it's like, what is your
yeah,
what is the
the
number?
average employer doesn't have a GPA normalized spreadsheet showing them that it's like, okay, an A from UC Berkeley is equal to like a B from Harvard or something, right? They just say, okay, well, this guy has a 2.0 and this guy has a 4.0. So the this is a better number. I go
Yeah.
with the better number guy.
It just seems like this is a solvable problem. Like, I don't know, in the market, right? You could normalize the grades that way. You're like, okay, this is the quality of the incoming class. This is what a grade is, an implicit class rank, and then this is the implicit class rank and how it translates across these things. But the answer is, of course, that no one is really doing that, because no one thinks any of these things is real in a certain sense, and it's all LARPing in a lot of senses, because there's so many thumbs on the scale, right?
Well,
And
yeah, I mean,
I think also
the idea of trying to
just
fix anything with a university prop, go for it.
I think also the other thing with university is like, what was university, 50 years ago? And it was like, okay, you're going to get like a classical education, you're going to learn classical texts, and that's what it can be if you have, whatever 10%, 5% of your population is going. If it gets to the point where it's like, oh, if you don't have a degree, you're an idiot, you're fundamentally teaching a very different thing, right?
Yeah.
Like 40% of society did not become 130 IQ, definitionally, obviously, but like, in a more colloquial sense, like not everyone became so much smarter in 60 years. And even like this is one of the topics that some of the quote unquote like libs will touch, like the Brian Kaplans of the world will be like, oh, education is like a myth, like education is one of the big myths of the world. This is one of the very few things that they will kind of touch and like kind of admit that it's mostly, it's more nature than it is nurture, really.
Well, Kaplan is very specifically very much like anti-education, not, I don't want to say anti-education, but he's anti the idea that education is doing anything other than signaling and credentialing. Like, he's very against it. But like, everybody knows it, because, okay, here's the classic example that you can simply prove this is they don't check ID at law school to get into the lectures. But if you go to a bar prep class, they will very much check IDs and make sure you are registered for and paying for the bar prep class. So the difference is, one is about education and the other is about the credential. And the ones that are about credentials.
I will say, a lot of the classes, so my engineering classes, this was never an issue, because if you miss your engineering classes, it's like it will probably just be reflected in the grades, or you will flunk out. But the business classes that I had, they actually did check. They would have a little clicker sign-in thing that you had to do and download an app, because they realized that you could literally just never go to a business class and then you can still pass, right? And you might not even have to study. You can just go to the exams, and it's like, if you're smart enough, you can kind of common sense your way through. So everybody stopped going. But then a really funny thing happened where so they roll out all these clicker programs, and resultantly every intrepid young businessman decides that they will start a service where they go around to all of the people in their dorm room and they say, I will collect all of your phones and your clicker, and I will go to the, because they had to be in the room because they had a number that you had to put in or something like that. And they was like, if you give me $5 today, I will go and do it for you. So now this kid is bankrolling hundreds of dollars a week off of collecting everyone's phones and waking up at 8 in the morning.
Really, he should be getting extra credit for business
Yeah,
classes.
he should get extra credit. That's a flying colors in my business class, dude. What do you mean? Like abusing the government? Like, yeah, dude, that's like 101. That's the way you
have
way you
figured
make
out
money,
a market
bro.
opportunity. You are the top business graduate in that year. Yeah.
But I think this was a program that lasted maybe like it was. I don't even think it was a full year. I think it was like a semester or something. Because it's just immediately apparent how silly it is, right? If you're a professor and you see these kids with like 80 phones in their backpack come in and stand outside your doorway doing this for like 30 minutes, like I would actually feel worse than if nobody showed up to my lecture. Like it's actually much, much worse to watch this kid typing the numbers than it would be to just give an entire lecture to only 0 people.
Because I think but I think that's the key of why they did it in the first place, right? Why they did it in the first place was because it would look bad if the professor's lecturing to an empty lecture hall.
I'm gonna raise you on the black pill and the uselessness of this all. I'm gonna say that the reason they did it is because the professor felt stupid. I bet the professors were like, nobody's caring about but like the professor just feels like an idiot talking to no one. It takes a very special person to be able to sit here alone talking to no one, right?
I mean, even
It takes a lot of talent.
Honestly, we can't do it. There's 2 other people. Each of us has to have other people on the call to be able to do it.
Solo podcasting is crazy. Solo podcasting is insane, dude.
I think solo podcasting, and Saila and I have discussed this many times before, but I think solo podcasting has the highest likelihood of developing mental illness as any profession. I think it is the most mental illness
like an
inducing
LLM
profession
talking
of all
to
time.
itself.
It's a complete
It's an LLM talking to itself all day.
Debacle. I'm making a reference. Do you know that reference at all? Like, you ever see like the super clips of, speaking of solo podcasters, of Candace Owens mispronouncing words over and over and over again?
Dude.
Like she says debacle wrong every single time she says it.
That's so funny. Anytime I see these pundit people in a clip, I just scroll past it because I feel like at this point in my tenure as a denizen of online nonsense communities, I sort of know all of the different like Candace Owens, Matt Walsh, etc. They're not like bleeding edge of the discourse enough that I'm going to click on the Matt Walsh video and I'm going to hear something that I haven't heard 100 million times before, right? Like I've already ingested every take that Matt Walsh can generate within the bounds of his sponsors, right? He may think very interesting things privately, but he will never be able to say them on a recorded setting, right? So I just feel safe to scroll past them. So Candace Owens could be the funniest, most insightful person in the universe, but I just assume...
no. She might be the funniest person in the universe, but she's not insightful. But that's the joke, is like, I think that you watch her for if you were to watch these videos, you would watch them for the unintentional comedy.
I have a friend whose wife randomly became mega obsessed with Candace. And this is actually, he's a very, very well-off finance bro who's married to an Asian woman. And his Asian wife just became obsessed with Candace Owens and just watches all the Candace. And like, this happened back when Candace was on her thing where her only goal in life was to prove that Macron married a transgender man.
Yes.
So it was just so, because you have like this totally fucking normal and well-off finance guy, and he marries a very status conscious and also very normal presenting Asian wife, right? But then you bring this Asian wife anywhere, and she can't fucking shut up about how the Prime Minister of France married a transsexual, and nobody's discussing this. And we're all like, I know, we want to keep it that way.
Wow, gee, I wonder what other things nobody discusses and why nobody discusses those things.
And you're just like, and I think it was
one
of
of
those things where
you told me these were your base friends.
You said they were based, but as soon as I went on my 45-minute tirade about the secret penis of Macron's wife, all of them just sort of started leaving the table and making excuses to exit.
Well, this is the, like, if you, whatever worldview you have, be prepared for it to be reflected back at you with like a more extreme and 20 IQ point lower version of it from your wife. Is like the statement about being like the danger of being right wing and like red pilling your wife.
It is the radical wife meme is something that I've increasingly, because a lot of the guys that I knew that were married, it went one of two ways. Either they have a bad marriage and the wife is still like super libtarded, and it's just like horrifying, or they have a good or functional marriage and their wife just gradually approaches the guy on everything, but then because it's a girl and girls can get away with saying so much nonsense in public, and once, like, girls just don't know this, right? Girls all kind of, they're within a very normalized band of nonsense, but when a girl realizes how much nonsense she can get away with saying, she just goes to levels that it's like you would be described as some sort of a Hitler acolyte if you would say 10% of what these random women say. And everyone's like, oh, haha, she's like off the cob, bro. What a wacky girl.
It's very, very true.
So I've been watching all of these, like, everyone is talking about how the women have been radicalized, right? One of the recent examples, I guess, is there's that mom who 3 of her kids to, and then I guess they still have to have a court hearing over this, so maybe she didn't. But as far as I know, she was literally recorded saying, yeah, I my kids.
Yeah.
And a lot of women are just coming out and saying, like, yeah, she didn't do it. I can tell because she's like Leo.
She's
and
a Leo.
Gemini,
Leos don't kill their cubs.
and he looks mean, and she looks like she's nice. So
Okay, they have a point on the physiognomy analysis. Okay, let's not throw out the baby let's not choke the baby with the bathwater here. Okay.
Okay,
Let's not drown the baby
everyone
in
has
the
been talking about
bathwater.
how women have been radicalized in response to this, because now all of the women are coming out to defend the mom just on the basis of, oh, she's also a woman and we're women, right? But that's like such a minor radicalization. Like, women lie to defend their friends all the time. This isn't even radicalized. This is just like, men do this even, right? Like, this is a normal behavior. People lie to defend their friends all the time. Actual radicalization is talking about Macron's secret penis all the time. Like, that's actual radicalization.
I don't know. I don't know. I see this as like, okay, so maybe I'm being apocalyptic here, but like, I see this as like, women are not coming back from this one. Like, it's over for women after this one.
Dude, every time there's a big meme on the internet where women are like saying some nonsense, all of the alpha male red pill accounts are like, the women will never recover from this one. You're going to be buying women for pennies on the dollar after this one. The female value has gone to zero.
It's going to zero. It's
And it just never matters. It never matters because everyone, there's always a guy willing to pay $1 for $1 worth of woman.
Bro, he's willing to pay $1 for like zero quantity for like the conception of a woman existing and acknowledging his presence. The worst kind of internet commentary on this stuff is the people who go like, well, of course women are like that nowadays. Look at how men are. Men lead and women follow.
Oh God.
It's just, so do you know that one I tweeted the other day? I was like, bro, your wife's tweet just made me want to.
There's been so many, we have all of these things retained as like memes in our brain, but we don't know what they mean anymore. We have very loose tagging and categorization of it all. We're like, yeah, like isoflavones, phytoestrogens, that's what the like holistic people said. I remember when I had my holistic phase, I said those words.
Well, do you need to remember it? It's like, all right, soy is estrogenic, so just don't take it anymore, and then just like, don't worry about the details.
It's not estrogenic. I am pretty sure I'm remembering this. It's that it binds to the estrogen receptor in a way that blocks estrogen in a way that causes not necessarily just estrogenic effects, but also random inhuman effects that turn you into like a weird alien person. Like, I thought that was the issue, is that a phytoestrogen is not a real estrogen. So it's not even like you're transing yourself. You're turning yourself into like a deer or like an alien or some other thing that doesn't exist.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody. Like, okay, so you're saying this explains furries. Too much soy will turn you into a deer.
There's a lot of ways that you can effectively turn yourself into not a human.
Okay, I buy it.
Finasteride probably
believe it,
too,
yeah.
actually. I want to say also, going back to the thing where the women are all like, the guy is evil and mean because of his face and also his astrological sign.
He's a Gemini, but I'm looking at the quote. Leos don't kill, Geminis do. Leos don't kill their cubs. Nope, not
What
buying.
is the theme of our episode again?
It's so epic. So what do yeah, the bliss of
the bliss of confirmation bias, right?
It was a great episode title because I knew no matter what we talked about, we would hit it, right? So it's great we kicked off with
Well, also our entire podcast is confirmation biasing ourselves. Like we could have actually called our podcast Confirmation Bias instead of Plausibly Deniable, and Confirmation Bias might have actually been a better title.
Fuck.
I'm gonna go reserve that URL.
Do we rebrand right now?
We have to cut this part out, or somebody's going to take that podcast. Somebody's going to take that podcast.
It comes out
title.
later. We'll figure it out by then if we want to hit a quick rebrand or not. It's actually,
what do you think?
Confirmation Bias is really good, unironically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was
I like Plausibly Deniable, but Confirmation Bias is like
Confirmation Bias rolls off the tongue in a way that Plausibly Deniable does not, which is the unfortunate reality of plausible deniability. Is like it's one or two syllables too long. You need a couple less syllables in there. It has grown on me though.
It's really grown on me, but holy fuck, Confirmation Bias goes hard.
Confirmation Bias goes turbo hard because it's like no one can complain about your content anymore.
Yes.
Like all you guys do is agree with each other. It's like, wow.
It's like, have you tried reading the fucking words? Have you tried reading them, dude?
We've done it. That's irony. The ultimate in irony poisoning, right? Where it's like you're so ironic that you can't ever be disagreed with because it's just bro. Look, it's confirmation bias. We know
everyone else is doing it. Okay, I feel like I should be able to enjoy some comfort. Like every other category of people in society is doing turbo insane confirmation bias. Okay, I feel like I should be able to do it as well.
Obviously, all of these women are confirmation biasing themselves into believing that this woman could. Like, I don't even need to say that this is how it is being represented, right? But the women believe women cannot be guilty, so they just say, he must have done it, and she's innocent.
I don't think that's it. I don't think that's it. I think that what it is okay, so it's how women use language, right? How women use language is not, like if a man says something, it's like if a man says A, it's because he wants you to believe A. Because he thinks that like A will work well for him, or like A is the truth and this is something he wants to convey to you. But if a woman says something with the idea in her head that the thing she's saying will induce something in your head, and then her goal is to induce the thing in your head. And so women are like, oh no, she didn't kill the kids, because the thing she's actually trying to say is it's perfectly okay that she killed the kids. And so the way that she gets you to think that it's okay of what she did is by saying she didn't kill them. But that's why I think the women thing, that's what I think about this thing that like, and this is I feel like this is hard to talk about because we're trying not to get completely censored here. But and I don't know how well we're going to succeed at that. But I feel I really do believe that like women know that this woman did it. And like her defense isn't even I didn't do it. Her defense is like I have postpartum psychosis. Right? Have you seen this? That like this is her defense. Is like, no, I did it, but I wasn't in my right mind, and it should be okay that I did it. And then like women are like, no, she didn't do it, because it's like they don't. Yeah.
Isn't this just like every defense now? Every time anyone does anything, they're like, fuck, bro, I was off one, man. I was off a bean. My bad.
My bad.
Off a bean is so funny.
And it's also just clearly the wrong response to any of this, right?
Yeah.
Like if someone
just the
says,
insanity
"Oh, they were
defense is
crazy.
broken.
We're letting them off because they were crazy." It's like, no, you should like quadruple down because they're crazy. If someone says, "I'm so crazy that I randomly kill all of my children," it's not like, "Oh, case dismissed." It's like, dude, you're going to mega jail.
Yeah, you're going to like a worse version of jail. Bro.
I mean, yeah, look, you're right. I mean, it's, there's the classic Nick Land tweet of like, it's like the idea that I think he said like the idea that mental retardation is a defense rather than an aggravating factor in a crime is enough to condemn an entire legal philosophy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense flatly.
No, it makes no sense. Yeah. It makes no sense. Like a friend showed me the absolute most insane case I've ever seen, and this goes back to like I didn't get to the end of it, so I don't know how it got disposed of. I think the guy got executed, but I'm not sure. Guy kills somebody, and then like the police go to capture him, and then he kills the cop. When he's like the policeman is like waiting, the cop is like waiting in his living room with like his mother, and then he kills the cop, and then he realizes when he's caught that he goes to shoot himself, and he fails to self-terminate when he attempts to, but it damages his brain in such a way that he's like left as mentally incapable, and so now he can't stand trial because he can't assist in his own defense, but he's not being defended from the fact that he's mentally incapable, but he can't help in his own defense. And the Supreme Court ruled that you have to be able to help in your own defense to be put on trial. But you can only be held if you're temporarily incapacitated from helping in your own defense, but it's a permanent state. So you're left with this like catch-22 where there's like nothing in the legal system that you could do about this guy, but they executed him. So
what? That's the craziest. That's because
it was in the 90s.
Ending of. Okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna say because you were telling me about all of this, and I thought you were gonna end it with some like nonsense story, like this person now requires a $7 million annual life support budget, and it's all supported by Virginia taxpayers or something like that. And then you're like, no, they just killed him.
They just executed him. Yeah,
and that sounds like a country, bro. Like that sounds like a real, like that's a nation state type activity there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I haven't seen that from us in quite a while.
Yeah, I was going to say this thing. You were like, the Supreme Court ruled this, and I was like, oh, it's just mega over, bro.
Yeah, no, because it was like they did establish, but that's the thing is like they established all these rulings were there in the 90s. And like if you followed the law according to the way everybody had interpreted it, you couldn't do anything about the guy. The guy just found a loophole. Give yourself brain damage. I mean, you have to live brain damage for the rest of your life, but like give yourself brain damage so that you cannot help in your own defense, and then you could just get away with whatever crimes you committed before that.
I'm gonna say about the guy who was trying to self-terminate, and he failed. Do you know how common this is? Like, do you understand how common it is to attempt to own life with a and fail? This is one of those like goofy things to bring up to liberals all the time because they all have this idea that you can like point at somebody and you're like, like the criminal, I'm gonna caps out. And they think that this is possible. But a person who is sitting there attempting to take their own life with a hand that they're lining up with a mirror pointed at their own head, they have something like a 50% chance of succeeding.
Wow. I didn't realize it was that low.
It's insane.
I have a feeling that whole bit is going to have to be cut, right? For like
probably,
YouTube.
But if it doesn't have to be cut, the message of that bit is this: you should never yourself. You should live on, and even if you are thinking about trying yourself, you'll probably fuck it up, and you'll be trapped as, which is so much worse.
It's even worse.
So much worse. Then like, you think it's bad now. Imagine if you were now and you had all the same.
All the same problems, but yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe your problems are maybe my problems would be better if I were. I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
don't seem to have the same problems.
No. We have to. I mean, we're taking, like, we're not actually trying to do a philosophical. We have to take the stance that it's better to not yourself because that's what saves the channel. So even if you think that it might secretly be better if they make them, you can't say it here.
Okay.
So please roll it back.
Okay.
Disavow.
Disavow. We need viewers, bro. We can't have the viewers die, bro.
Yeah.
This is the funniest thing. My mom has an account. She had an account that she used. 0 followers, 0 following. Literally just a news browsing account that she used to keep tabs on like me, some of her friends, some news events, and
Keeping
at
tab on
some
my
point-
libtard bomb friends and also my schizophrenics.
well, at some point, my mom's news account got banned
Yeah.
for suspected automation.
They
or
did that with
something like
they did that to me on Instagram. I had an
So-
account that I did nothing. I never posted a single picture, and I browsed the timeline. I didn't even really browse. I used it to DM with people that I would meet that don't have Twitter accounts, and that's basically the only use I had of it. And I wasn't like spamming out. I like had like actual conversations with like 5 people. And
Well,
then
so
they
for
like,
my mom, what happened with her is they banned the account under these bot suspicions or whatever, but then they sent her an email saying you can appeal this to, and there's just no way to appeal actually.
Yeah.
But it also said, and you're not allowed to make a new account. So she's trapped, and because she's a law-abiding woman, right?
Right.
She sees this thing. It's an email from the official platform saying you can't get back in unless you appeal. So she's like clicking all around, clicking all the links on the fucking email to try and find one that might be an appeal. And eventually she realizes there's none. And then it also says you can't make a new account. So she's like, Lukas, what do I do? And I'm like, I would just make a new account. And she's like, well, it says that I can't. And I'm like, well, I just don't think they care that much because it's like it was a 0. Like you never posted. Like, I just don't think they care. I think you can just make a new account. And she's
Also,
like, well,
what
it
can they do to
explicitly
you?
says not to make a new account. And I'm like, well,
Like, what are they gonna do? Ban you? That's where
yeah,
you're
they'll
at,
just ban
bro.
you again. That's they already did it. They escalated to. 'Cause back in the old days, they had a thing where if you had under 10,000 followers and somebody somehow you got flagged to get banned, there was like no internal controls on it, and it was like, okay, you're banned. And so what I knew somebody who kept remaking accounts, and every time she would get close to 10,000, somebody was watching and would ban right when she got close, every single time, like multiple times. Like back
there were
this
so
is
many
back
there
in
were
the
so
old
many
days.
just like ridiculous internal I don't know. Twitter back in the day was just like the ultimate Discord Janny hell.
Yeah.
Like the moderators on Twitter were going so haywire. It was totally absurd.
Yeah.
What an
My
epic
question
gig,
is-
dude! These people all made like easily $200,000 a year in like
Mm-hmm.
$12 for like banning and unbanning people at their own will, bro. Just like a guy who
Can
pays
you
you to
imagine the power
unban
rush
him.
you would feel?
Yes,
You're like, wow,
dude.
look at this
Oh
guy.
my
It's
God.
like not only maybe they didn't even insult me, but they like to comment insulting me. Bannable offense by me, bro. Bannable. That sounds bannable.
I know
It's super awesome.
I know
because
somebody who
also
got banned for joining a space and listening back in the old day that was a Nick Fuentes space.
Oh yeah, if you joined the Nick Fuentes space, everyone in it just got insta-killed, I think.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
made me
So awesome.
extremely schizophrenic on this platform for a
I
very
didn't
long
join a
period of
space for
time.
years after that because of
Yeah.
that.
just so awesome how it's such an epic circular system, and you can't even like Janny is the Giga Chat in this scenario because like the 4chan meme was always like, oh, they do it for free, like Jannies are turbo losers, but it's like no, they're getting paid a salary, and on top of that they're like accepting bribes from people. Like the Twitter Jannies were the Giga Chats. That was like the top Janny job you could ever get for sure. Just one of the
Should we
greatest.
do this?
Should we just apply to random support job?
Yeah, like, why should-
X.com at SpaceX AI? Dude, you're like a Janny. Hold on, hear me out, okay? You were a Janny in 2012, just like banning people you hated. You got Twitter stock, you converted into X stock. You now own a piece of SpaceX AI. Just the biggest Giga Chat to ever do
Oh my
it.
God.
You're
So
the
what was your
greatest to ever do it, bro.
What was your what was your family's path to generational wealth? Well, it starts with I really didn't want people saying certain things on Twitter. I didn't want anyone to be able to
Hero,
disagree with me on Twitter. and this got me rich. This is like the equivalent of like boomers talking about how like Larry King, you know, the story of like Larry King, he like went in one day and he was like the janitor at like a radio station, and then like one day like the radio host didn't show up, and it's like they put him on the mic, and then he was on the air every day until he died. Like literally every day. Like the story's insane. It's like the most insane boomer story. And I'm assuming
Dude, the reason
like,
this is why boomers all have their weird shit where they're like, just walk up to her and shake her hand. Like they all think that it works.
It
still,
worked,
because
bro.
it actually did work at one
that
point.
That was the unpatched method in 1.0 back in like 1.0, bro.
But
what
now
awesome.
I tend to think that it's a lie, though. I tend to think that like that's not actually like Larry King, like his family knew somebody and he was set up with that job, and then like that's the story he tells for public consumption. I tend to believe that. I don't know.
It might
one way
also
or
be
the
a
other,
lie,
I
but
never
there's like a
investigated.
seed of truth in it, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Like for example, like my dad studied econ, and then he was like a fly fishing guide, and then one time like a random like on this during the summers he was like a fly fishing guide, and then one time he ended up guiding for a guy who like later referred him for a position, and like he was qualified for it, but like he also just got lucky and like talked to the guy, right? So
Right.
I think it's like there's a seed of truth to it. But that's I always laugh like the Bill Ackman.
May I meet you?
He billionairely whispered into her.
I mean, I feel like that's ridiculous. Like I don't even know what a woman's reaction to that is supposed to be. If you're standing in front of her and you're like, "May I meet you?" She'll be like, "What are you talking about? You're standing in front of me. We've already met."
I think the thing is, if you're at a certain age or above it, you can say that and they'll just be like, maybe it's some weird fucking like gentleman shit. Like maybe this is like when they hold doors for you or something. But if you do this as a 19-year-old man, you walk up to her and say, "May I meet you?" It is just the pinnacle of all turbo autism. So it is, and again, this is fitting in with the title of the episode, but it's this confirmation bias thing where if you're a boomer saying this, it will work, but only because you're a boomer. So you're like, my advice worked, but it only works because you're old. Right? Like if a younger person were to try doing this, it would instantly detonate their entire social life.
Yeah.
Just so amazing. What a Giga Chad, dude. I think it also works because it's like one of those things where it's so out there. It's like why is he doing this? He's supremely, stupidly confident. Like, okay, he must
He's
have
so
Riz.
confident he thinks he can talk to me like some sort of medieval jester, right?
Ultimate gesture vaxing, dude.
He's using such bad game that it has to be intentional. Therefore, he is so confident.
I feel like this works.
This was a strategy for a long time. Remember, it was the he's showing how easy it is for him. Like he doesn't care about having the Android. He doesn't care about like wearing good clothes. He doesn't care about flexing the XYZ things. That means he must be really cool.
Yeah, well,
right.
That's
But then everyone started doing the anti-game to that level, so it kind of doesn't really work anymore. Girls did the same thing, right? Girls were all like, well, if I act like a huge bitch, that means that I'm desirable because otherwise no one else would put up with this. But then everyone just started acting like huge bitches. And now it's not like, oh, I think you're valuable because you're a huge bitch. It's like, well, they're just all doing it.
I think, yeah, but I was going to say girls, I think, just haven't stopped. Girls just did this and they got stuck in this equilibrium now.
I might be wrong, but I feel like they've started shifting back and they're no longer doing the thing where they're trying to signal how hot they are by being a huge bitch. Okay. I feel like that's started to reverse. I might be wrong, though.
Society is no longer monolithic enough that everyone is like on the same wave of fashion. And so now you still have like the Asian girls in San Francisco still do the thing where like they call themselves a hot girl all the time. But everyone in New York stopped doing this like 2 or 3 years ago, kind of.
The hot girl thing is really bad. I think that's one of the worst trends of all time where you're going around affirming autistically that you are a hot girl.
So I think weird.
It's equally as bad as if I were to walk up to you and say, like, hi, like, I'm trustworthy Lukas, and shake your hand. You would just instantly be like, this guy's going to mega fuck me, right?
I'm a pretty big believer that we're going to get some crazy hair technology very soon. The demand just seems to be there.
It's definitely gonna happen for real, bro. Like, we're genuinely going to be at the point of developing trans-dimensional hyperdrive starships before we fucking cure balding. It's just, at this point, we have done and you can tweet this out every week, and I often do.
It won't be cured.
Yeah,
Never
dude,
gonna fix
you can
it,
tweet this out. You can tweet this out every week, and it will still go viral. And it's like, oh, like, so I guess we've developed the ability to transition a man into a woman, but regrowing 2 square centimeters of hair is too tough for the human race now, huh? And every guy is sitting there like retweet, comment, like, so true.
So true, bro.
You could run back tweets nowadays in a way that you really could not before. Like, before, people would give you shit for running back tweets, but now there's so much AI slop that people are like, oh, that was a real tweet you wrote.
People also don't remember it. You remember when
Yeah.
you used to tweet something and there would be some guy that's like, you stole this from this, and it would be some guy you've never seen before that had a tweet that was like semantically similar that he made 8 years ago, and you're like, I don't really know if you could say that this is steal. It's like the same subject that we're discussing, but I wouldn't say that the commentary is the same. And now it's like you can tweet verbatim the same thing as you did 1 week ago, and people will be like, dude, this is so funny. Nobody thinks like you do, man. Like, nobody's ever had this thought before. And it's like, you had it. It was me. I had it 1 week ago. I might have even stolen it from someone else, probably. Like, many thousands, millions of people have had this thought.
I don't know about that, but you know, I mean, I think a lot of these thoughts are not that common. But then again, I look at replies sometimes when somebody puts a tweet in a group chat, and I'm like, oh, I come up with this epic reply, and then I put it, and I look at the top 50 comments. I'm like, all right, I haven't seen it yet, and then I read, and the second you tweet out that reply, and then you read down, somebody said the same thing 3 hours before.
If you do it in the reply, if you make the same reply as someone else, that is the one where you will get the guy with 17 followers being like, you stole his reply.
Yeah. I'm like, I didn't steal it. I independently thought of the same thing. In fact,
I also do think it's really funny that people don't realize how, at a certain point when you're assembling certain types of discourse, there are only a handful of things that you can think about them, right? Like, if I'm trying to formulate a take, there's not an infinite number of takes.
Yeah,
it's like
the number of takes is actually
square.
quite limited. Yeah, there's not that many takes, dude. We're running out.
Yeah.
The one thing that will get solved after balding is Twitter search. Just the most broken thing. It's better to search on Google and put in your username at this point than to search on Twitter.
It's better to ask Grok. It's better to ask Grok than to put the exact phrase.
And Grok turns around in Google searches, by the way. We've all been doing it.
Right after this brief intermission to say, hope our editor appreciated that. Now back to our sponsor.
Our editor's going to want to himself, bro. It's just the most annoying episode. The most annoying episode to edit ever.
So wait, you don't do the editing anymore, do you, Lukas?
No, we upgraded. It's never going back. This is a level of hedonic adjustment that's impossible to go back from.
I could do it again, but it would be the most low effort editing ever. I would be like, okay, Chat GPT, scroll through this, and if I ever said explicitly any slurs, or I said cut this, or if I was just unfunny, you can cut that too. Leave in the parts where Saila is unfunny.
I do think sometimes I love the editor. Sometimes the choices are a little sometimes there are things that are left in where I'm like, yo, why did we leave that in, by the way?
I haven't read any of them, but I'm like, the nice thing about not editing is I also don't watch it. After we post the episode, someone could send it to me and they'd be like, dude, this is crazy, bro. I can't believe you were willing to say this. And I was like, I wasn't really willing to say it, but what's there to be done about it now? Can't believe you were willing to say this publicly. I would have probably cut that one, actually.
Well, that's I actually on my pod we did a thing where we have we got little dog training things that clickers, and we literally, because you could see the click, If you put the click in, you could see it in Audacity when you're doing the editing. Like it makes a big
That's
spike.
funny. I should just like whack something on the desk.
Yeah, like here,
Just
look,
start
I mean,
dog clicking the editor. That's so fucked up.
well, the thing is, I was doing the editing, so I was doing it for myself.
Dog clicker training yourself.
There was a period where when Saila was just being extremely difficult to schedule with, and he was like just
Yes,
not.
Lukas was being vindictive edited. I never called you out on this because I realized that it would get worse if I called, which is like obviously correct. Like obviously it would have gotten worse if I called it out. But yeah, there was a period when Lukas was just doing like openly vindictive editing, and it was not just like oh Saila said something unfunny, like leave that in, or like oh Saila stuttered, leave that in. It was Saila said something funny, cut that out.
Oh my god. Does this make the episode worse? Yes.
I was like, I don't care. Like I will
don't
sync
care.
it all. I will sync it all. And then it was like, this is an interesting period where Saila is clearly checking his emails and not listening to me whatsoever. And so he just goes like, yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, like on a loop, sounding like an absolute idiot. I better copy paste. Yeah, 5-minute section of that. What if we do a 5-minute section? Oh yeah, that's real good content. That's real good content, man.
So you realize in the future, everyone's gonna live edit reality, right? That's just gonna be reality. It's like if you hate your bitch husband or you hate your wife or something, you can just make that your life now.
You get the VR glasses and then you use them to make your wife like 50 pounds fatter even. It's like she's already a big girl, but now dude.
You're not making her hotter, you're making her fatter because you hate her so
I feel like all we're doing is we're catching up to like the technology that's already built into Foyd's brains. Like they already do this with reality. And all we're doing with that is like you need look at it's like the meme from Invincible. Look at what they need to mimic our power. And it's like men have all sorts of like levers of technology and women are just like, yeah, I just choose.
We need like the $15,000 GPU that can do ray tracing and accurate particle rendering of sand.
Yeah,
just to do the thing. There was
and women are
that
just
I
like, no,
dated.
you're shorter than me, and it's like I'm literally 8 inches taller than you.
There was a girl that I dated. I think Covfefe knows this one. Where when I was dating her, she was like, "You're well above 6 feet tall," and then when we broke up, I became 5'8". It was like the funniest thing in the universe. And like
it's kind of good.
She would go around telling everybody this. Like she would be like, "My ex is like 6'3," and then she instantly flips or she would be like, "My boyfriend is like 6'3," and then she flips to, "My ex is 5'8." What a loser! And then they're like, "Well, but didn't you say he was 6'3"? And then she didn't even say, "No, I lied." She just said, "No, I never said that. What are you talking about?"
That's an interesting thing, yeah, because that gets back to the thing I was trying to say earlier, and you were disagreeing with me, or you didn't buy it. But it's like, no, because her statement isn't about reality, and it isn't about like the statement. It's just about this is calculated to have an emotional impact on you, and that's why she says it.
In my view, it's as much like for her as it is for the other people. Like she's also telling herself she never said this, and that Lukas is 5'8".
No, but I mean her saying it in the first place. Her saying it like when she said he's 6'2", that just means that doesn't mean
that was
he's
also
6'2".
for her. That was also for her.
Yeah,
that's also like for her to self-believe.
Okay, yeah.
I think a lot of it is like self-deceit. It's self-cope, which is actually, and I'm gonna hit you with some crazy wife guy cope here. Okay, some crazy Saila wife guy in training. Okay, this is actually a good thing. Like it's good that women are these crazy cope machines.
Yeah,
this is the bliss of confirmation bias.
Yes, exactly.
Saila's basically accepted, like, yeah, well, there's not really anything I can do about it. So I either have to say that it's good or be like a depressed mess forever.
But of course it's good that they're cope machines. I mean, like historically,
but of course it must be good because that's how it is, right?
No, I'm serious. The only
God would never make it bad. Like he
No,
would
but
never
I'm kind of with
create a bath.
Covfefe here, man. I'm kind
No,
of with
the
Covfefe.
only
Like, I
reason
actually kind of think
society
it's really-
functions, the only reason society functions is because women are cope machines. Because you see what the world is like
Society
now that
doesn't
they get
function.
their way.
You're
No, now it
debunked
doesn't.
on arrival.
No,
Society
now it
literally
doesn't.
doesn't function.
Now it doesn't. Obviously, yeah. But what I'm saying,
Right, but
is,
if you're saying that this trait of them is what makes society function, it can't be true because they have always had the trait, and society doesn't function now.
society used to function when a woman would get married to an average guy and she would cope him into being amazing. And now women are exposed and they have the exposure to literally every man on the planet because, like every guy will try to fuck her. And now they don't have the ability to cope that their husband is amazing anymore.
Well, this
And
is
so
debunked
society
again.
broke.
Also, if she was truly this amazing cope machine, she would just keep coping instead of. You're basically saying that her ability to cope, that her average husband is amazing, is gone now.
Yes,
right? Which
it
I
is.
agree, it is. But if she was an amazing cope machine, it wouldn't be gone because she would just cope harder.
No, but there are limits. There are limits to what she can cope with. And
Well, in
we
the
have
past, you had to
pushed
cope
beyond
out
that.
of like 500 mates. You had to cope.
Yeah.
Now you have to cope out of like 5 billion, mates,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
It's beyond the coping ability.
But my point
The
is
real
the cope
problem
is good.
The real problem is always the Matt Iglesias of the world, okay, who enable the cope into like actual policy. Like the cope is quite sweet and endearing when it happens like within the vicinity of a safe, controlled little environment. But when the cope starts happening within the vicinity of like policy, like, oh, I don't think we have to be mean to criminals because that's mean, so we don't have to do that. That's when the cope starts getting civilizationally destructive.
I feel like
have
people have all sort of accepted that podcasts exist as a friendship simulator. It's so rare, and when it does happen, it betrays an instant misunderstanding of the total medium. Right? When someone comments saying, your subjects this week were really not what I was looking for. It's like, dude, you don't understand why this podcast exists. You don't understand why anyone watches this podcast. The subjects, bro. Like, it's like next week I was hoping that you would hit on the AI and recursive self-improvement loops harder. I really like. Did you see the recent note about Anthropic and their revenue? Like, you don't. There's 3 people that want to hear me say that. There's 3 of them. It's 2 if you
2
take
of them are
yourself out
you,
of
by
the
the
group.
way.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
wait,
2
wait.
of them are you.
Let me
It's
do
your
a
sock
let me
puppet
do a
account.
parasocial bit. Let me do a parasocial bit. So I was listening to your episode with the Zcash guy, right? And I was like, you were talking about how like certain Ethereum, like certain addresses just get cut out and they're permanently unspendable. Do you remember this? Okay.
Mhm.
So somebody in the blogosphere, this blog, like Jim, he actually came up with a name for this, and during the episode was driving me crazy. It's like, oh, just say the name. Like the name, he calls it the Blood Diamonds attack. The idea was that you delegitimate this entire like alternate stream
Pot
of
of gold.
funding. Yeah, but like the idea is that like it's they're blood diamonds, so you can't trade in blood diamonds, and then like so
Yeah.
therefore you can't prove the provenance of it. So like it's an actual thing that's been done in the past. So this is
So
this is
for
my
those who are
parasocial.
unaware of what we're discussing here, there is a thing in crypto where there's a certain tumbler that people use to wash their money, basically, so that you can't tell where it's from. And at some point, the government just started saying, if any amount of the funds in your wallet came from this protocol, your whole shit's cooked. We will not accept any money from you ever, right? So you would have people taking these tiny amounts of like these dust particles of money that they had washed through this thing and just sending it to everybody they hated, because now they're sitting on. It's like you're sitting on millions of dollars that, like, if you try to deposit this to an exchange, they're going to say, we don't accept your money because it's illegal scam laundering money, right? But the broader point with it is actually the media tried to do this with crypto as a whole by marking Bitcoin and all other cryptos as, oh, the only reason you would ever use this is for money laundering or crime. So anyone who accepts this is probably doing crime.
Yeah. But like the idea is just that worked because, previously the other way to smuggle like money over borders, if you wanted to pay for things from one place to another, diamonds, because they're small, they were small and they were valuable, and it was something that you could easily move from point A to point B. but like, yeah, so they replicated the attack that they had on it. It's memetics. Everything is you learn
actually
one thing.
it's even broader. You can generalize this to guilt by association as a concept, but it's just being applied to currency.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
true, actually. Yeah.
yeah, but that's what money laundering in a lot of ways is. That's what like money laundering laws are. It's like we don't know that you're not funding terrorism, so we'll just say that any transactions that we don't have legibility on could be used for funding terrorism, and therefore no transactions are allowed to be illegible to us.
Yeah. Guilt by association. I don't know, man. I've been going through a massive libertarian kick here recently. Guilt by association is one of those concepts that is just like guilt by association and the reduction in your ability to freely associate. I now would actually point to as like the things that did it. You know, like taking away freedom of
Yes.
association. That's the one
Yeah.
thing that I think actually destroyed the country.
I think the problem is that like no one would ever defend, like I know exactly what you're talking about, but like no one would ever defend the opposite of like the opposite position is like, oh, this is a freedom of association thing. Or very, very, very few people would actually be like, oh, I'm defending this on the basis of freedom of association.
Well, they put the stink on it. Like the progressives put the stink on that phrase as a whole. Like they said that phrase is code for you want to be a racist. And they succeeded in the memetics because they had memetic power to do it when it was live. And then no one wanted to defend it for that reason. I'm trying to avoid anything that's like controversial specifically, and I'm trying to be very
Yes.
I'm
We're
trying to be very clear that
posting
I'm talking about the meta level and not talking about like the specifics. Like I'm talking about
Yeah, that's the other
this
thing
was
is like you try to talk about the meta level without talking about the thing, and it sounds so goofy sometimes, dude.
Yeah. Well, no, but to me, the interesting part is like the progressive strategies are interesting and like how they work memetically and like how they like persuade people and like how they like associate it. And it's like how it works on people who are low decouplers. Are you guys familiar with the low decoupling term? It's like a very
The problem
That's
is
just a
we
thing
may
you
be
do when
familiar with
you
it.
want to seem like you're more intelligent than everybody else, and you're like, well, thing that is bad in 90% of situations isn't intrinsically bad. Look at this one situation where it's not intrinsically bad. Oh, you're owned now.
I think isn't high decoupling, and this is one of those like Bay Area words where there's going to be someone in the comments saying, "I've never heard anybody talking like this in real life. This is crazy." Like, great content, guys, great podcast. But I got to say, it was really jarring hearing you say low decoupling in person. We actually did get a comment almost verbatim saying that.
Yes. We got a comment saying like we're Bay cells, which is super.
Yeah, they were like, "Do people in the Bay really talk like this?" And I'm like, I was born in the Midwest. Like, they talk like this in Kansas.
it's spread everywhere now. The contagion is out of control.
I mean, if you use Twitter heavily enough, the San Francisco terminology just kind of permeates into everything you say because that's where it's from. Like, everyone on Twitter is from San Francisco in some extent.
I don't know, man. What else have you been up to besides driving around and picking up GPUs, eating carrots? Dude, the satisfying crunch of those carrots is making me want to eat a carrot.
Does it sound? I was wondering if you could hear it in the. That's
It's
actually
the
somewhat
most
disturbing. I
epic
didn't realize
crunch.
that you guys could all hear my carrot. That's super fucked. I'm gonna stop eating.
I
them now.
also love foods that crunch. I have any food that crunches, I love. I don't even care what it tastes like, man.
Well, I've got just the food for you.
What?
Anyway, what were you saying? Thank you for listening to another episode of the Plausibly Deniable Experience, soon to be rebranded as Confirmation Bias.
Potentially.
Maybe.
What does the audience think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if the audience wants it, I'll
comment,
do it.
and subscribe. What do you think we should rename the
comment, and
podcast?
subscribe. Let us know your thoughts. Which name do you like better? Okay, if you don't tell us, we can't action on that.